Okay, if you ask me what I think one of the most important elements to bring with any one bag travel loadout, or just doing some minimal travel, or going for EDC, I would say it would be a sling that maybe is either really small or, depending on what you're doing, pretty large. So in this video, I picked out two of my favorite slings, anywhere from small all the way up to extra large. I'm gonna tell you about those and maybe give you some advice on how to pick the right sling, whatever it is you have coming up. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, Editor Odie here. Real quick to let you know that I apologize in advance because one of these slings I call by the incorrect name. The Wandered Sling is no longer the Roam Sling. They rebranded it after I did my initial review. It is now the Wandered Rogue Sling. So in this video, I still unfortunately refer to it as the Roam Sling because I have not talked about it since they changed the name. So apologies if there's any confusion from that, but it is in fact the Rogue Sling. It is no longer the Roam Sling. Now, on with the video. So what I want to say up top is I do have full in-depth reviews on all of the slings that I'm going to go over in this video. So if you want more information or if you want to see them packed out with loadouts that fit their specific sizes, then I will link all of those videos in the show notes below. But for the sake of this video and it not being 50 minutes long, I'm not going to load each of these out with individual items. I'm going to show you what their capabilities are, what I think, and some suggestions of what they might be good for, because we have a variety of slings all the way down from some tiny little hip like dad fanny pack, I'm going to Disney and I need to make sure the kids have all the snacks, to some big boys like this one from Wandered, the Roam Sling, that can be used for camera gear, minimal loadouts, or whatever you want. So with that being said, let's dive into the small slings. So when it comes to small slings, me personally, this is my go-to, what I like to bring with me when I'm doing one bag travel. Anything that can fit just something simple like your phone, your wallet, maybe your rental car keys or your regular keys, depending on what you're doing. And then maybe like headphones, chapstick, and then maybe some eye drops. That's usually my go-to minimal small loadout. Not to mention the fact that slings like this can easily fit in any one bag travel loadout you have because they take up little to no space. And my two go-tos for this category are the Nomadic Access Sling, which really isn't even a sling on their website, it's like a hip pack, and then the Andar Indie Belt Bag. I really like these because the Nomadic one has some minimal organization on the inside with two little mesh guys and then just an open pocket, and that is pretty much all you're gonna get on some of these small slings. Very minimal organization. On top of that, with the Nomadic one, in Nomadic's fashion, they like to do their RFID safe pockets, which is great. Again, if you're bringing your wallet, credit cards, identities that you don't want to get stolen digitally or electronically. It also has a back RFID safe pocket on this one. It's very similar with the Andar. You have a front pocket this time, no RFID, that just kind of lets you put some small items. And then on the main compartment, same kind of loadout as the Nomadic one, two little extra organization bits on the front side, and then on the back side, you actually get a zippered area for some extra security if you want to bring some cash, or if you're going overseas and you need to pull out some cash in a different currency. That is always a nice secured extra layer for stuff like that you might want a little more protection. Both of these are really good, made a little bit differently. With the Andar Indie Belt Bag, you get this nice, like almost faux leather kind of material that I really dig. It's made from solid material, it's got a really nice buckle, and it's fashionable. This comes in a variety of colors, so for those of us that might want to jaunt off to Rome or Paris or wherever you're going, this is going to look really stylish. In comparison to the Nomadic, which, you know, Nomadic is really good at doing tarpaulin or Cordura or Codra type materials, this is just a very nice weather resistant, weather guard YKK zip, just made from some ballistic nylon, and you're good to go. These extra small slings, or small slings as I like to call them, are fantastic for that minimal one bag travel loadout when you need to carry a little bit more when you get to where you're going. Or like I said, if you just want to do EDC, you don't want to have stuff in your pockets, which is something that I personally don't like to do, then slings like this are going to be perfect. So for this category, my two favorites are the Moment Fanny Pack, which is really solid if you're into mobile filmmaking, if you use action cameras, DJI Pocket 2, anything like that, or even like camera mobile filmmaking gear. And then the Air City Sling. Now, for the Moment one, you get a lot of organization. Not only do you have this really nice zippered front pocket that has specific spots in there that you could put like little tiny batteries, again, leaning more into that mobile filmmaking aspect of the sling, but that front pocket is really good for organizing some smaller items. Just like the other slings, you also get a nice back zippered pouch, which gives you that extra layer of security if you would want it. And then on the inside of this, you get a lot more organization. You get little elastic bits, you get a nice little lens wiper, you get some nice extra pockets that are specific in dimension and small for smaller items, some larger items, soft felt. You get a variety of stuff in this. It's a really, really good sling. It also works really well as a fanny pack, which is why it's one of my favorites. Anytime I'm taking my DJI Pocket 2, an action camera, maybe my Osmo 6 for my phone, anything for my drone, and I'm not bringing any large camera gear, this thing is perfect. For those of you, for those of us and you that maybe want to do more like vlogging style, or maybe you just want to start out with YouTube, but you don't have a lot of camera gear and a lot of your stuff is on the go, so you don't need like a giant camera bag, this sling, in my opinion, is perfect for that. In contrast to the Air City Sling, this is definitely geared more towards those of us that want those organization, and this is very good for EDC and that minimal one bag travel. You get a really solid front compartment here with a nice, big, bulky zipper, big, nice, bulky zipper pull. Love that. WeatherGuard YKK zip. Nice front compartment to put any extra items that you might want. Just like the Moment Sling, you also get a nice back zippered pocket, which is something that I actually use a lot more on slings than I do on bags. A lot of times bags will have that back pocket to put like your passport and stuff. It's up against your back and it's really just kind of tight and it's not my favorite, but on slings, I adore that because I like that extra layer of security. And on a sling, it's a lot easier to kind of pull it out from your body, unzip it and grab than it is to like unsling a bag, put it down, unzip it, shove your hand in there and grab something out. So on a sling, I really enjoy these back zippered compartments. And on the inside of the Air City Sling, you get similar to the Moment one where you get a lot of organization. Only this organization, in my opinion, is based for more of those EDC essentials or things that you'd want on the go when you get to your travel location. You get some elastic bits, you get a zippered bit, and you get a nice long, big pocket to fit extra items to keep it organized. This is a great sling for those of us that don't really want to take a big bag, or maybe you're taking a backpack and you want to get away with a sling. So I love to use slings of this caliber, and I really do think that these two from Air and from Moment are perfect for this medium range, not too small and not too large. And speaking of large, let's talk about some larger slings. Now these aren't humongous, we're gonna save those for last, but these are what I would consider larger slings. Slings that, you know, maybe just serve a purpose of being just a sling. Not saying you couldn't take these with you, especially this one from Bellroy, which is their light sling. One of my all-time favorite slings. I absolutely adore Bellroy. I love reviewing their products and I love using their products. With this on the front, you get a nice organization bit that even has a spot for key clip and then some nice mesh organizers. I like front pockets on slings. I think they work really well. With this Bellroy sling, you also get some really nice zipper pulls as well as that nice shiny WeatherGuard zip seal. Now, in contrast to the medium slings, this Bellroy light sling doesn't have a lot of internal organization. It's mainly just a zippered compartment and then open space to throw your items. This sling works really well. Not to mention the fact that this is one of the easiest slings to adjust because this little quick release buckle, it makes it so easy when you need to unzip, undo, swing around, whatever it is. I'm a big fan of the Bellroy light sling. I'm also a big fan of this packed 5-liter sling. This is actually a sling that my partner uses quite a bit. It's actually one of their go-tos whenever we're out and about, and you get a lot more on this one. You get a nice front zippered compartment that has no organization, but it's nice and flat. Can even fit like small notebooks, which is why I'm a big fan of it. But then on the inside, it is loaded with organization for items of varying sizes. On one side, you have a gigantic, just zippered compartment that's mesh to put larger items that you might want to be able to see. Then you have the main compartment itself, and then up against the back, you have another mesh, 2 additional pockets, one of which is actually magnetic to keep it closed. The other big compartment is also magnetic to keep it closed, which is nice. And then you even end up with a spot for a pin. I feel like it's a good size, and if you're gonna be somebody that brings a lot of stuff with you, or maybe you're traveling with your partner or couples or friends or whoever, and maybe you just wanna have one bag to kind of put everything in, well then a smaller sling might not work, but a backpack is just a little bit too big, then something like this could easily fit in your bag, pull it out when you get to where you're going, make it like a communal little storage pouch for everybody, and you're good to go. Both really solid slings that I am a big fan of, from the pack sling to the Bellroy light. In large slings, I feel like these are as big as you'd want to go before we get into the largest size in this video. And that largest size basically being a sling that is almost a backpack in a lot of ways. And for this one, I picked out my two personal favorites, which is the Monarch Sling and then the Roam Sling from Wander. Now the Roam Sling actually comes in varying sizes, anywhere from 3 liters, 6 liters, and then this big boy 9 liters. For starters, you have two really nice lash points here at the front to put things like tripods or smaller items. Underneath that, you actually have a little spot that velcros out and you can put even more. So if you had a larger tripod, you can actually sling through there, which is really nice. And back here is also where you get this zipper that when you unzip and then you go to the top here, you can actually fit a laptop. You can put a laptop and carry a laptop with this sling if you wanted to, which is what makes it so versatile in this extra large category, because it is one of the only slings that you could comfortably fit a 13-inch laptop. Yes, it's going to stick out, but at the same time, you still are using a sling and carrying a laptop, which to me is a pretty big win. Now, the main compartment is loaded out and organized to be something for camera gear, as you have camera dividers and a spot here at the front that is a zipper compartment that has areas and organization for specific camera gear. But if you took out all of these camera dividers in the main compartment, then you would have just a really nice padded internal main kind of compartment in a sling that you could use for anything you like. Now, this is not going to be something that I would recommend bringing in conjunction with like a one bag travel, but it is something that if maybe you had a checked bag for whatever reason, I don't like checked bags, not my favorite thing in the world. But if you did and you didn't want to quite bring a backpack, but you wanted a sling, maybe bringing camera gear, maybe you just want something to carry a lot of items with, then this one would work really, really well. Okay, and then the last sling we're gonna talk about in this video is this one from Monarch. Now, I absolutely love the dudes over at Monarch. I actually got the pleasure of meeting and hanging out with Nathan from Monarch, and I'm a big fan of their products, especially their Cetra Duffel, which I reviewed a few years ago when they did the Kickstarter for it, and this is no exception. What I like about this sling is it is large enough to be considered a larger sling, but it's not quite like day pack size. But what it does really well is include the elements you want in a sling, and it married them really nicely with the very essential and bare basic elements of a day pack. So in this one, not only do you get a really nice and easy to adjust strap that can actually be switched. So if you're a lefty or a righty, which is fantastic because I'm a lefty and a lot of slings, I'm not a big fan of how they sling around my body. So for all you lefties or righties that want to do it the opposite way, this sling allows you to do that, which I'm a big fan of. On top of that, you get some really solid organization. Speaking of tight up against the body packs or pockets, you get one of those in this, a little security pocket that also has this little guy that I'm a big fan of. It's a little strap that you can like loosen and it hooks in so you can have a little bit of stability with your sling strap, which I think is a really cool addition. Then all the zippers on this are WeatherGuard YKK, which I think are fantastic. You get a nice front flat organization bit that has some extra organization in there, including a zippered mesh pocket that I think works really well. And then next to that pocket is what would be considered like your average larger sling organization. So this is when you sling it around your body and you're looking at it like this. This is what gives you access to all of your quick items that you need a little organization for. There's tons of organization here, from flat pockets to smaller pockets to pin pockets to zippered pockets. You get a variety of organization in this front compartment, which I am a big, big fan of. And then similar to the Wandered Sling, but operating a little bit more securely, you actually do end up with a laptop/tablet sleeve. Now, you can fit 13 inches in here fairly comfortably, but anything bigger than that, you're not gonna get in here. So like now that I've upgraded to a 15-inch MacBook Pro, this is not a sling that I could take down to the coffee shop because my laptop wouldn't fit. But with that being said, this really isn't a sling that you would use in place of a regular backpack in that sense, because if you're somebody that's going to need to bring a larger laptop, none of these slings are really going to be super ideal, except for this one for smaller ones, and then again this Wandered one. But I like this laptop sleeve because it's padded, got a little extra organization, and does a really solid job. So these are just some of the slings in these categories that I am a big fan of, anywhere from the smallest of small to the largest of large before you start getting into that day pack realm. I think all these things are really solid depending on what your needs are. They can fit anything from mobile photography, regular photography, EDC, one bag travel, or a hybrid of all of them if that's what you want to do, which if I'm being honest, It's pretty much how I use most of my packs. All of them end up becoming, whether they want to be or not, against their will, they end up becoming hybrid packs to help with filmmaking, content creation, or just whatever I feel like doing that day, which could be anything or nothing. Most of the time, it's nothing. Most of the time, it's nothing. But with all that being said, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about any of the slings that I mentioned in this video, let me know down below and I'll do my very best to answer those for you. Like I said, all of the extra reviews that go fully in depth will be in the show notes. If you're interested in any of these that I mentioned, don't forget to like, subscribe, all of that wonderful nonsense. And with all of that being said, I will see you next time.